Okay guys, I am somewhat embarrassed to admit this, but I have watched over 1,300 hours of live D&D play. Between Critical Role, Dimension 20, all the one-shots from D&D Beyond, a lot of D20 Tales, some Adventure Zone, and well, okay, just a lot else. I have watched a ton of it. And so I've learned a lot about D&D, but also I feel I have specifically nailed down the massive difference and the magic that is different between a home game and a D&D live play. And I want to talk about it. So let's talk about it. This episode is sponsored by Only Crits Dice. Now, I legitimately have been using Only Crits Dice for several years now, and they're one of my favorite companies to buy from. Personally, I'm using the Icy Blade set, and I've used this quite a few times in my games recently, and my players have legitimately asked me to stop using it because of the amount of crits that I've rolled. That is not an official endorsement, just genuinely being honest about the fact that it has treated me really well, so hopefully it does the same for you. They have incredible sharp edge dice, metal dice, and of course, all the different types of dice that you would ever need, as well as a few dice rolling products. Seriously, I've been partnered with these guys for a long time, and they've been absolutely incredible. If you could use the link in the description, it would be amazing, and you can use the discount code PLAYYOURROLL to get 15% off at checkout. Make sure to actually put play your role. It's really easy to miss the two Y's there and the two R's. Man, I really should actually fix my name. Regardless, go get some awesome dice. Let me just go ahead and get this off the bat. I don't know if this is going out before my next one D&D video because I recorded these on the same day, but if it is going out beforehand, please know that this is going to be tangentially related to it, and if it's going out afterwards, well then please go watch this video once you're done with this one. But that being said, let's talk about D&D Live-plays. Now, D&D Live-plays are a massive part of the community. They drive in a lot of people to watching it. In fact, my first real actual emphasis on learning anything about D&D was watching a Game Grumps video on it. But that being said, I learned about it through live plays like a lot of other people do, and I continue to learn from that. But of course, as everybody has probably already said in the comments, live plays just aren't the same as home games. In fact, they are massively different, or are they? See, that's what I've begun to notice. Over the course of all the live plays that I've watched, I've noticed one particular thing that makes them just feel different than home games. And that is, shockingly, the audience. I know, you're totally baffled by that. You definitely didn't see it coming, right? I'm kidding, but I think there is something that a lot of people haven't noticed. So let's look at it this way. In a home game, you sit down at your table and you all create content just for the people at the table. It's not even content, you're just having fun. You're connecting, you're playing a game, you're playing a war game, you're playing a role-playing game, you're rolling dice. It is a great time of creating relationships and connections. When you are playing a live play, the audience is there, and that is going to create a very specific nature. I mean, have you looked at all the times that people have said that Critical Role live shows when they're actually in front of a live audience are way different than their other home games or just their games where they're playing on streams? Well, of course they are, because you have the audience participating. They're there, they're laughing, you want to make them laugh, you want to get them engaged, but that's the thing. When you are on a D&D live show, the intention is to entertain, and that is what is at the forefront of your mind. And when you are at a home game, the intention is to have fun, and that's what's at the forefront of your mind. I've so far said nothing that will shock anybody, but here we go. This is the main thing that I've noticed. I think with the intention of entertainment that D&D live plays have is better than home games. Please let me explain before you bash me in the comments. The reason I think that D&D live plays create better games typically is because when you are in that moment of knowing people are watching, your intention is to make sure to create the most entertainment possible, not just for the people watching, but for your people at the table. Home games, the intention is to have fun, and you should have fun. But a lot of the times what that leads to is players prioritizing their own fun. But when you are in a D&D live play, there's this feeling of accountability on your shoulders because you know that everybody should be at the table having fun because you're all trying to create an entertaining product. Now, am I saying everybody should go out and start streaming their games? No, please, no, don't do that. Enjoy your home games. The reason I'm pointing this out is because I think it is that magic factor that can make your home games so much more entertaining. If you're sitting at your table having this good old time with all of your friends and you're having a good time laughing, you may not notice that somebody at the table is bored or not having fun, or a joke just offended them. And of course, just because I've said the fact that a joke offended somebody, somebody's in the comment calling them a snowflake. Hey, dude, you writing that comment right now, go away. You're not welcome here. Do you think that that's going to make them comment more and help with the algorithm? One could hope. But the point is, you may not notice somebody's not having fun. But when there's the accountability of a live audience, you are focused on making sure that everybody's having a good time, the audience and your table. And so when it comes to a home game, when you are sitting at the table with your friends, keeping in the back of your mind this idea of wanting your table to be having the most fun possible, to be projecting an awesome time, really does change a lot of things. And it doesn't require an audience, just a change in mindset. I personally have before run a game where we were streaming. In fact, long before I was a content creator, I actually did have a D&D stream. I'm not gonna link it because it was cringy, it's old, and I honestly don't know if the VODs are even out there anymore. It was my first game of D&D and we were streaming it. First of all, I would recommend not doing that. But it did lead to this fascinating thing where a group of people around the table who were typically very loud and like interrupting each other, instead were very focused on giving each other our full attention because we knew there was one microphone in the room and we wanted the audience to be able to hear. All of our 3 or 4 listeners. Yeah, we weren't streaming to a lot of people back then. Point is, we're all definitely focused on keeping eyes on each other and making sure that we were giving each other respect because of that microphone. Now, obviously, if you're gonna take a production like Critical Role or Dimension 20 or anything like that, they have all their own microphones, their own setups, but there's still the intention of knowing that people are watching and they need to know what's going on, so you have to give each other respect. Now, the thing is the moment you start streaming or putting your game out for others to view, there's a feeling of responsibility and that can take away the fun of the game. So I honestly believe that the perfect game is a mix between the game you're playing at home and a live show. Not because you want to play a live show, and I'm not encouraging people to do that, but because the live shows create a different atmosphere at your table. And I can honestly give a very perfect example of my own Wednesday night games. I love running for both of my groups. And in one of the groups, the Wednesday nights, we always record our sessions because we like to go back and listen to them to remember what we forgot and also just genuinely enjoy good times. We like to document it. We publish them on YouTube. It's unlisted. Please don't ask to go see them, but it is a good time for us personally. And with that being said, knowing that that's there and that we're able to enjoy that with each other makes us a little bit more aware of the microphone. We're still loud, we still interrupt each other sometimes, and a lot of the times we break the microphone gauge, and okay, that's a pain to listen to, but we enjoy it, and it is a good time because it helps us focus in and give each other more respect. And I legitimately think it creates a much better game because we're a lot more aware of what's happening at the table. There's this feeling that we want to entertain somebody, but who we're wanting to entertain is ourselves. And that is what I've noticed. When you look at Critical Role, you see them all having a great time at the table, really respecting each other. And when you look at Dimension 20, it's the same thing, but they're all very aware of the cameras and the microphones. If you take that mentality without actually having to have the cameras and the microphones, but still just remembering that you're trying to just entertain everybody at the table, it creates a different atmosphere because you're wanting to invest with each other. You're wanting to create the most entertaining product possible. Now, let me address the one comment I'm sure everybody has said. Does this mean everybody should do this? I don't know. I really don't. It really depends on your group. I think it works awesome for my group, but I don't do it for the Saturday group that I run for because, well, we got tired of the microphone at some point, and so we didn't do it anymore. I'm sure if I put the microphone down, it might help a little bit, but a lot of us just kind of want to have a goofy, fun time. But still, the microphone helped when it was there. I'm not saying put a microphone in front of your table, but remember that the point is that you're all trying to entertain and have fun with each other. And so your goal should be to focus on everybody else at the table. And that's very basic D&D advice, but adding this layer of why do live shows seem to have such a large amount of fun when they have the right group? Well, this is kind of why. Because they're all fully focused on respecting each other to create the best story possible, and we can do the same thing at our home tables without the pressure of having an audience watching us. And truthfully, I think that's absolutely incredible. And I would really encourage everybody to go out and try it. And if it doesn't work for you, that's totally okay. If this didn't make sense, that's also totally okay. But go out and run the best games possible for your table.